All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Adamsbrotherspodcast. Come on in the room, let's chop it up. We're standing on business over here at the Adamsbrotherspodcast, baby. Good Thursday evening to each and every last one of you. Pop-up podcast. I'll be sharing some information with you all. And while we're waiting on you all to come into the room, we had Sheriff Dr. Gregory Toney, the Sheriff of Broward County, on our 11 a.m. podcast this morning. If you missed it, go back and watch the playback. We talked about a few different things. We only had about 30 minutes with the sheriff. He had some more interviews he had to go and do, so we always appreciate whatever time that he gives us. I don't care if it's 15 minutes or half an hour, 45 minutes. It's something that no other sheriff has ever done. No other sheriff, with it not being an election year, has ever came on our podcast. If they did come on, it was an election year, and they wanted us to give them a platform. And I can honestly say this about Sheriff Dr. Gregory Toney. He comes on when there's not an election year, and when it is an election year, I should say. So, Sheriff Gregory Toney, thank you for always making time for black media. My brother and I, we always tell you that when we see you out in public. We want to thank you personally for always making time for independent black media. We haven't made it on the big stage yet, but we're well on our way, because we're standing on business over here on our podcast. So thank you for rocking with us here on our channel, here on Facebook. Hello, Joanne Duncan Smith Duncan, I should say. Thank you for joining us. So we're going to be giving out some news here that all of you all can depend on. And what you got? If you want to call in, the number to call in is 954-480-3209, 954-480-3209. It's in the description. I think that phone line is still charging over there, but give us about 10 minutes or so, and I'll open up the phone line if you want to call in for any reason and talk about something that's going on in Deerfield or Pompano. And let's make this clear. We don't just talk about Deerfield Beach news here, because we get a lot of inboxes from people, and they think that we only just supposed to talk about news here in Deerfield Beach, which we don't.
Because we're here from Deerfield.
Yeah, we live here and we're born and raised here, but we don't just talk about Deerfield Beach here. We talk about Pompano. We don't live in Pompano, but we have immediate family that live in Pompano, and some of our very good friends, longtime friends, live in Pompano Beach. So we have a vested interest in what goes on in Pompano Beach. So we care about what goes on in Pompano. They're our neighbors to the south. And we're here for Pompano, Fort Lauderdale, Lauderhill. There's a lot of shootings and gun violence going on in Lauderhill, Fort Lauderdale. We had some mothers of gun violence victims here. They were murdered here in Broward County. Sharika Williams, she was on our podcast talking about her son. Sharika L. Williams talking about her son, Jalik Johnson. And then we had Miss Brittany Buckner on here, and we were talking about her daughter. Actually, the sheriff, when we were just talking about gun violence, he just mentioned a young lady that was shot up just sitting in a car. And I believe that's who he was talking about, Brittany Buckner's daughter, Destiny. So we had to follow up with a question to the sheriff about cold case murders, which opened up the dialogue to talk about cold cases and how they are handling cold cases down at BSO. So again, if you missed the playback, if you missed it live, go back and watch the playback, and hopefully you can learn something from the video, the interview. Hello, Toya Hardage. Hopefully you can learn something and get something out of there, and we can take back to our communities, black communities, no matter where you live. It doesn't have to be the black community. It could be anywhere. So with that being said, this week we had, well, let me see if I can pull it up. Can you pull up what I posted this morning? I got my thing going on here. What was that just popped up over there?
Close it.
Oh, okay, I thought somebody was trying to come in and say something here, but all right, while I'm doing that, I'm going to run over and get the other line here. So, Wayne, you can talk to him here for a minute till I get back.
And what were you talking about? The Pompano picture.
Yeah,
if you go on our Adams Brothers podcast, you will see where there's actually a meeting going on right now in Pompano Beach. And that meeting, let's see if I can pull the photo up. That meeting, it's a special meeting, and that meeting is started at 5:30, and it's in the city commission chambers, and that's in Pompano Beach. And the meeting will consider the final approval of the Willie Mays Boca Point as the master developer for the project, and it's a $2 billion project, and it's going to be the topic of discussion is the new downtown MLK at Atlantic Boulevard and MLK. So that is a very big project going on in Pompano, very big redevelopment project that is very important. And I think everyone in Pompano should add their input to that. I mean, that's a huge project over there. You know, they have been trying to revitalize that whole area over where McMillan's, the street that McMillan's is located, which is Hammondville or MLK. So that's a big project, and people should go out to that meeting if you live in Pompano and want to put your input in on that meeting. Go there, just like here in Deerfield Beach. We had we're trying to develop, or we're looking at developing over by Deerfield Beach City Hall. And that's part of I believe the National Land Institute, I believe. Let me look up and get the exact name of it. But they had a meeting on Tuesday night, and that meeting was concerning anything and everything that's that they're talking about putting over there. Give me one moment. That will be the Urban Land Institute, the ULI, as everyone has been calling it, the ULI, Urban Land Institute. And they showed slides and the other night at the Deerfield Beach Commission meeting on Tuesday night, where things, if you go on there, I'll put some of the proposed development they're talking about putting over there for the Urban Land Institute, ULI, as they call it. And they're talking about putting restaurants, shops, making it, it would be nice if it would look like something like a Meisner Park type, with the restaurants, with the shops. But that area at Pioneer Park over there right now,
Pioneer Grove.
Pioneer Grove, they're calling the project. And I know a lot of people think that it shouldn't happen. I, for one, think that it should happen. And let me say this to a lot of the people that have not been here in Deerfield Beach. And I'm talking about a lot of people on the beach area, a lot of people out west, and a lot of people in other districts. Me and my brother been here all our life. I'm 57 years old. I used to walk from my aunt's house to Deerfield Elementary. So that area over there near City Hall, Pioneer Park, that area looks the same. That area, nothing, they changed it up every now and then. They might have put a rink, a ice rink, that didn't work. It was a lot of things over there they put that didn't work. They had the old rec building. They tore that down a long time ago. But now they're trying to redevelop that whole area, and we've been here all our life. We have seen no change in that area. And I know a lot of people just come in here to Deerfield Beach, and they think everything should stay the same. They want Deerfield Beach to stay like a horse and buggy town. Deerfield Beach can't stay like a horse and buggy town. They're proposing a small amphitheater over there. I spoke on it the other night at the via Zoom at the commission meeting. But, I mean, if you really look, if you come into Deerfield Beach, we really have no identity. We don't. I mean, you come here, City Hall looks the same as it looked when I was going to elementary school 50-something years ago. If you look at the Deerfield Sheriff Office, which used to be the Deerfield Beach Police Station, all of that looks the same. Yeah. We need further discussions on financing and money, but that we need a new sheriff. We need a new sheriff building. We need a new city hall, something that can accommodate where we are right now in 2000. And I know it's going to be where the money is going to come from, but we need that. When you've been here like us all our life, man, I'm tired of walking by. I'm tired of riding by seeing the same thing. And I know people, again, want things to stay the same, but it can't. I mean, y'all just coming here. We've been here all our life. So we haven't seen any substantial changes over there. So y'all just getting here. So what about people like us that been here all our life that really haven't saw no change in that area that they call Pioneer Grove at all? So we like to see some type of development. And I saw Howard Nolan. He got up and he talked about preserving the history of the baseball park, the softball parks over there. And I agree. I have no problem, as Mr. Nolan said, about preserving the history. But also, if the park, if the baseball field or the softball field is the problem, then how about moving the park east? How about moving the baseball field east? I mean, you could still do your development, still fit that park in towards the east, and still do just what you want to do. It's all about compromises. So, I mean, everyone needs to get involved in all districts and speak on this, because your tax dollars is gonna go towards this. And if you want Deerfield Beach to remain the same, then you get up and you give your opinion. I, for one, I mean, Deerfield Beach took a survey, and I believe
It's still up.
50-something people, 51% of the people said they like to see some type of development. I mean, we all want to see sensible development. We don't want to see some monstrous building like I think the mayor said. We were talking about an amphitheater, and I know we can't put something the size of Pompano Amphitheater over there at Pioneer Park, but we can put something, as the mayor alluded to, on a smaller level, something that everyone can enjoy. And maybe we can put that Pompano type amphitheater somewhere else, but we need entertainment. We need something here better than what we have. This place just can't stay the same. So in the future, the same way people are speaking in opposition, I like to see more people, especially from District 2, come out and speak.
We don't get enough people from District 2 coming out. They do a lot of complaining, but they don't come out to the meetings. And even if you're home, if you can't make it up there, just log on to your computer and watch it from there.
Speak on Zoom.
And speak on Zoom. And they are actually, the city of Deerfield Beach is asking for your input. They have a survey up online. I don't know if they're still taking it, but it clearly says we need your feedback about downtown amenities. It says downtown development, restaurants, entertainment, venues. What would you like to see in downtown Deerfield Beach? The city wants to hear from you. This is what they're saying. The panel of experts from the Urban Land Institute, ULI, will be conducting a study to find out the best and highest use for 20.64, almost 21 acres of city-owned property, with hopes of revigorating Pioneer Park, streamlining government services, and creating a vibrant, livable, quaint downtown area. Take our survey and provide your input. Please click the link. So if you want to participate in the survey and let these city officials know, the commissioners and the mayor, what you would like to see over there at Pioneer Grove. If you want an amphitheater, tell them. If you want a cultural center, tell them. This is the time to do it. Don't come calling us and telling us to go tell them. I mean, you pay taxes here. You all pay taxes here. If you live here in Deerfield Beach, call them up and tell them. We'll put the information to call them up and talk to them and let them know your feelings. We don't have enough input. This is one Deerfield, so we don't have enough input into these things. And once they build it, everybody wants to complain then. They didn't include us in the Pioneer Grove area. What they're asking you for right now, they're asking you for your input. So,
and I have right here information of the survey, a survey takeaway, and it says here from what they put up Tuesday night, and which I'll put it up on our Adams Brothers Podcast Facebook page. It said 756 participants, 1,171 written responses, and it said 87.95% feel inclusion of green space and parks is important in downtown development. It also said 51.74% would support space for entertainment, community events, and gatherings. 39.28% would support, depending on a scale. 49.13% feels that access to public transportation is important. 24.16% somewhat important. So those were some of the takeaways, and it also said takeaways were major topics and themes were green space and recreation, walking paths, trails, playgrounds, picnic and ball fields, community gathering and entertainment, central gathering space, market, concerts, amphitheater or outdoor performance space, a museum, a splash pad, and it says development, mixed use development, shops, cafes, restaurants owned by chain stores, and it will maintain the Deerfield Beach character, small town feel rise, revitalize current infrastructure, preserve area history, and incorporate public art. And those were just some of the things. I mean, if you go back and look at the meeting, you'll see the slides that they actually had up. Like I say, I'll put some of those photos up on our Adams Brothers podcast, but that area is in need of development. I don't care what, whoever's screaming out loud, we've been here. Okay, so we're qualified enough, and we've been here through the good, the bad, the ugly. So we're qualified enough here to speak on this and give our opinion on this. If you disagree, fine. We can agree to disagree. I, Wayne Adams, feel that Pioneer Grove area needs to be revitalized. I don't work for the city. This is not a city talking point. This is my talking point. Me and my brother, we want to see changes. We want to see sensible development here in Deerfield. Here's a start. I mean, like I say, you come into Deerfield, you really see nothing. And I think living here, you want to see that change. Man, me and my brother travel all over this country. And we go places you can go. We're going to be in the cities where you go in there right away. You see their identity. Not here in Deerfield. You just, I mean, it used to be in the days you come in, the greenery was excellent, the mediums were well kept, and I'm not saying they're not right now. They
But we
are.
can do better.
We can do better.
And they're working on it. They are working to get it back where it used to be. It was this Deerfield, this city was once immaculate. It's still clean, but not as clean as it used to be. Back in the
Larry Dejan days,
Larry
we can call it.
Yeah, Larry was very, very big on beautification and green, having the parks and the medians. He was real big on that, and it showed. It was nice, and we want to get that. We want to get that downtown Delray feeling when you first get off of I-95. If anybody ever been to Delray at night, you will know that when you get off on Atlantic Avenue up in Delray, and as soon as you get off headed east there, you see the lights on the trees and the poles and the nice sidewalks and everything, and it goes all the way over to the Intracoastal, to the beach. And just think, if you had that when you're getting off, going east, headed towards the beach, and even headed towards going west, towards Power Line and military trail and Power Line, and people are screaming for this. So it's time not for Hillsborough, but Pioneer Grove area. It's time for you to speak up and
we screaming for entertainment here.
I mean, this town is screaming like my brother said. We want entertainment so bad here. We're tired of going to Meisner Park. We're tired of going to Pompano. We're tired of going down to Lauderhill and Fort Lauderdale and Miramar.
We need an amphitheater.
Sunrise and Tamarack they all have amphitheaters, and Deerfield is the only city right here that doesn't have one. So.
And everyone always saying, well, we can't be like Pompano, or we can't be like this. Most of those people have not been here all their life like us. You go talk to most of the people here, especially in District 2, the majority of us have been here all of our life. If we haven't, our families have been here all of our life. So like I say, we have seen the good, the bad, and the ugly. We've seen the lack of progress here. A lot here, especially in District 2, but times are changing now. So we want to be a part of that change right now. And again, I support, I'm going to speak clearly for myself. I support some of the changes that in that ULI, I want to see a district of restaurant shops. I also want to maintain that our history here of the ballparks. And I want to touch on that about the ballparks. I wish someone back in 1997 would have thought the same thing about maintaining the history here in District 2 which was Westside Park back then, which is now the Oviedo McKeithen Recreational Center. We had a nice baseball field in the front, right there where the football field at. And I talked about the commission at that time was Miss Gwen Clark Reed. She was serving at that time, and she was new here. But we talked about preserving our history back then. We talked about preserving that rich history of our baseball, our Cardinal team, as my dad has been on our podcast and spoke so eloquently about. We talked about that rich history of preserving that. But you know what? No one didn't want to hear that when it came to our history over here with the baseball, with the softball. They didn't give a damn. They got rid of the baseball field. We lost a whole freaking generation of baseball and softball because you know why? Because we had people, this city here employed people here that didn't know what the hell what they were doing. They didn't know in the hell what they were doing, and they didn't care. They just came here with these new ideas. They came here, got rid of our baseball field, which it was gone for a whole decade. This generation here now does not know about baseball. I mean, tonight we have the Negro League. Tonight they're honoring the Negro Leagues. My dad played in the Negro League, is a part of the Negro League Baseball Hall of Fame. But they don't even know about the history of the softball, the baseball that was here. Nobody gave a damn about the history over here, but I hear history now, and I'm in support of them. I just wish we would have had people to support us back then when they got rid of our baseball park, moved it to the back, by that time, the park by that time the baseball came along, man, you gonna lost a whole generation of people. What the hell did you expect? You was gonna get a generation of people to just go to come out there when you lost that whole generation because you didn't listen to the people. Back then, they only listened to a few. It's not like now. The game has changed now. Back then, it was just a little clique here in Deerfield here in our black community, and they listened to those people. Those people didn't know what the hell they were talking about. This is why, and most of them are dead now, and this is where we are right now. We really have no baseball field now. We don't have anything. We don't have a history. You know, so when I heard Mr. Nolan the other night talking about the history, preserving the history, I sure wish somebody would have thought the same to preserve our history over here, because it's all gone right now. We don't have no photos. We don't have nothing of anything of the Cardinals. If it's all gone now. So everybody want to talk about preserving the history, rightfully so now, but I wish someone would have been here to help fight to preserve our history when we had the Cardinals, when we had softball and baseball here at that time. No one cared. And this is why we lose now, and this is why I'm saying right now, for everyone in Deerfield Beach to get on board in District 2, and I'm going to speak for my district where I'm at. Yeah, we could be one Deerfield, but I'm talking about right now where we are right now. I'm speaking specifically about District 2, because it seems like they have a lot to complain about, but they don't never want to put input in. We need to get involved and have input on what's gonna go, if anything ever goes, into Pioneer Grove. We need input. We need input on whether you would like your tax dollars to go towards a new city hall. We need a new city hall. Yeah, you got people can look back and say, well, what's wrong with the city hall up there now? Man, that's the same old city hall that I saw growing up as a kid. I'm 57 years old, almost 58, and it still looks the same. Nothing has changed. So all these people around here screaming and talking about, not changing anything. This city looks the same. We care. We here for the long run. We're not going to up and leave and go to Carolina. Again, my family has been here since 1913. So I feel like I'm qualified to come on this podcast and speak and say what we need. We need a new city hall. We need a new BSO station. We need all of that here. No, I don't know how we're going to pay for it. No. But I'm quite sure if we sit down and come together, as supposedly this one Deerfield that we are, and we talk to each other and not at each other, then I'm quite sure we can come. And I know it's people are apprehensive about bonds and about all kind of other stuff, because let's be serious. In the past, we voted on bonds, and let's be honest, they messed the money up.
Messed the money completely.
They messed it up. So those people who get up and talk about, when they get up and talk, they are within their right. Because some of the people they employed back in those days made all kind of blunders. So yes, it's a history there of messing up bond money that was voted on.
Wasteful spending.
Yeah, so yes, that's here. So don't just be so quick to dismiss these people because they're apprehensive about new development. But I just wanted to say that. I wanted to touch on that and just say that, because I think in somewhere that all of that gets lost. All of that gets lost. And like I say, again, we could talk about preserving the history. And yes, I think the history of Pioneer Park, the softball and the baseball over there, should be preserved. But again, there's answers. I mean, we can move that baseball field towards the east where all those boats dock at. I don't know what they're gonna do with the boats. I don't know, but let's not stop progress because of a baseball field. They damn sure didn't do that over here. They didn't care about over here when they did it. They just steamrolled on, and look how they just kept aligning Westside Park, Oviedo McKeithen Park. Now, look how many times they went out there and did that park. First, the football field. First, it was in the front, along with the baseball field, which probably they should have left it at. And then they took it to the back, and I guess the people in the tour started complaining. Then they moved it back up to the front. Look how much money they spent in aligning and realigning that park over there. Because you know why? Because the people in the tour complained, but they got together and they complained and they got something done. We complain over here All we do is sit back and complain. We don't never go and do action. All we want to do is sit and complain and talk about each other. That's why we don't get a damn thing done over here, because we sit and complain and talk about the wrong things. I'm just being honest.
So get involved. Get involved in your community, man. And you can't call us for every little thing. You all pay taxes here just like we do. Okay? You all live here just like we do. If you have ideas, call your commissioner. Everybody here votes not only for a commissioner, you vote for a mayor as well. Call Mayor Bill Gantz and let him know.
He gave his number out the other night.
He gave his number out. Call him and let him know what you want. Don't be afraid to talk to him.
Don't just talk about Ben.
He's an elected official. Don't just, like Wayne said, don't just run Ben Preston name in the ground.
We got a mayor here we vote for.
We have other city officials here, and not only that, it's
other commissioners
in other districts. They all listen. If you stop and talk to them, they'll talk to you and they'll listen to you. So all we saying, man, get involved. Pioneer Grove is coming up. Pioneer Park and Pioneer Grove, the same thing. Okay, you may hear Pioneer Grove, but Pioneer Park and Pioneer Grove is the same thing. Pioneer Grove straddles District 2.
Yeah, over on the waterfront, which
right.
Commissioner Preston talked about,
right.
That connection with the residents over there. He talked about that the other night at the meeting. That's why I told everyone, if you go back and look at June 18th meeting, where they talk about all of this and they talk about solutions, but go back, that area on the waterfront over there. I mean, all of that encompasses that area. Y'all should have a say-so. I mean, do I live up there near that? No, but I pay my taxes here. I'm a part of this city. We won Deerfield as I keep hearing everyone say. So get involved, man. Don't just sit back and let something come here and you don't have a say. So all you young people out there that I hear complaining all the time about, we don't have enough. Oh, these white folks don't do nothing over here. Well, this is y'all time to say something. Don't just, y'all always talking about standing on business. Well, let's stand on business here in your city. If you really care about Deerfield, say something about Pioneer Grove. Say something about other parts of this city. It's one Deerfield. Don't just talk exclusively about District 2, okay? Because I have seen other districts, when they came out and they railed against the Packer Rattlers, they were from other districts. They didn't give a damn. They talked good, bad, or indifferent about 2 and 4 things. When they were building the Johnny Tigner Center, that's coming along good. I saw a lot of people that did not want to see that project happen here, and they put their voices out here. Fortunately, the commissioners did not listen to those few. We needed more people to come out back then for the Johnny Tigner, and they did. They spoke up, but we need more people like this on a consistent basis to speak about everything coming here. I mean, you see different, like, let's just say, for instance, months ago they were talking about the Chick-fil-A. Okay, I know a lot of people from this district, and I'm speaking specifically about District 2, where I live at, are gonna patronize that. But you had a lot of people that did not want to see that Chick-fil-A. Oh, no, I'm not gonna even say they didn't want to see it. They just was concerned about the traffic. So that should have been a time. That's right. And they rightfully so.
They have a valid point for that.
And they should have been concerned enough to speak up and say, hey, we want this Chick-fil-A, but we stand in solidarity with the other districts as far as the traffic. Find a solution for the traffic, something we can support. But let's just not sit back and let other districts fail a project that we know we need over here because we don't speak up. At the meeting all the time, I see Janice Tigner Fulmore. She's there. She's always speaking up.
Ms. Bracey.
Her sister, Miss Fulmore Bracey. We see her there. We see a lot of others. I know I used to see one of the Moores, Wilson, I think his name was. Yeah. He used to be there speaking up. I don't know if he's there. I don't really see him there. But we need more people speaking up. You don't have to go to the meeting. I tell y'all this all the time. Don't let them fool y'all talking about you got to go. Yes, it's good. It looks good to have more people. But you got Zoom. You go right on the City of Deerfield Beach website. Click on that link. And if you want to speak, you go to the bottom down there where it says raise your hand. If you want to speak on a issue, you hit that. When it raise your hand, the mayor will come on and he will, on that issue that you want to speak on. Any issue you want to speak on, you can do that. You can do it right in the comfort of your home. You don't have to leave. We got to get out of this, what we're in right now. Just think we can just sit here and let everyone else make decisions for us all across this city, and we don't have a say-so.
And you can't always call us and expect us to do all of your talking for you, okay? We do pass along a lot of the information that we get from you all, and we talk to the mayor and the commissioners, all of them, not just our commissioner. We talk to all of them, the city manager when we see him. We all have good conversations. On over to the BSO police chief, Adam Hofstein, you know. You all develop a rapport with these city officials and law enforcement from BSO. Develop that rapport so you can go to them and talk to them too. You can't always depend on us to do your talking for you, okay? So you all are grown adults. Your mouth is cut just like ours. You know?
And you talk about us behind our back and everyone else. So stand on that same business and go up there and tell city officials where you stand, and you don't have to live here. I seen Eugene Austin I'm just reading exactly what he wrote. I can't a person from Deerfield being involved, although they don't stay in Deerfield anymore. Just the question. Well, I don't think you have to live here in order to give your input. If you got family here,
you can give that address.
Don't live here.
You can give that address and then speak on it. You
can still speak on something. You grew up here.
Yeah.
I mean, we be in Pompano speaking on stuff that we don't live in Pompano.
Pompano, Fort Lauderdale, Lauderhill. We go down to other cities and we speak on matters that concerns especially the black community. We go down and we speak on stuff, but we don't live there.
No.
So you all, for Mr. Austin, you don't have to, still live here in order to get involved. Okay. So just get involved. And if you can, let's see.
Oh, they can. I mean, like I say, these young people, they complain about everything, man. They complain about we don't have this, we don't have that, but you never see them engaged to do anything. All they do is run their mouth and talk. But they're not. What are you doing? What are you doing to help this community? Instead of talking.
Come with some solutions is all we're saying. Now stop with the.
I get tired of that, man.
With the talking, you got to come with some solutions. So let's acknowledge some of our guests there: Angela Divinity, Tyrone Hills, Darren Bisser, Nakisha Mohorn, Eugene Austin, Tony Rivera. Hey, Tony.
Tony, what's up there?
Clarence Honor, Reverend Clarence Honor, our pastor. Kendra Ewing. Eugene Austin and Beverly C. Glinton. Hello, Beverly. That's your classmate.
Beverly. Beverly is my classmate.
Hey, Beverly, and long
you
time.
doing?
And OC.
How's Alfred?
I ran into Alfred a few months ago at the gas station. Twice. I ran into him twice. I hadn't seen Alfred in years. So it was good seeing Alfred Glinton. He's looking good, man. Still looking young as ever.
Tell him we asked about him.
Yep, sure does. Sure. Joanne Duncan Smith, amen. So you can move on from that. Again, we had Sheriff Tony on this morning. Go back and watch the playback on that. We talked about some cold case murders and stuff that goes on here in Pompano and killings and gun violence. We all know somebody that's been affected by gun violence, and gun violence affects everyone. White, black, I don't care what color you are. It affects everyone. So we all have the responsibility to do our part to stop gun violence. So we all have friends and family that's been affected by gun violence and maybe killed, or shot and didn't die. But gun violence is gun violence. It doesn't have any color. You know, it's
Not at all.
it's in all communities, black, white, Latino, Russian, Chinese, whatever community. It's in everybody's community, some more than others. But we all have a duty to do our part to help stop it. You see some people on the corner selling dope, you know what to do. Don't call us and complain about it. Don't, call BSO and call your local police department and call them. You know people doing stuff illegal on your block there. Hey, you don't have to announce what you're doing. Just go in and do it, discreetly and privately. You can. They have all kind of ways you could tip these officials off. So we got to do better in our communities here. Also, we had Juneteenth last Saturday at Oviedo McKeithen Recreational Complex. Kudos to the city of Deerfield Beach. You put on a good event. Not only that, the Juneteenth advisory board. All of the members on the Juneteenth advisory board, thank you. They had kiddie rides out there, slides. They had food. They got there a little late. Some people were complaining about that, but it did get there. It was a little late, so I'd like to see them do a little better with the food, getting in there a little earlier next year. But I had a good time. Talked to a lot of people out there. I saw the mayor, talked to the commissioners with the S plural, not just District 2 commissioner. I talked to the commissioner in District 4, and I saw the mayor. I talked to all the city manager, and I had a good time. The music, Carol and Dudley, and the reaction band, they always put on a good show. Carolyn did her thing. Everybody know Carolyn can
She can blow,
just
boy.
Sing. Carolyn can sing
Yeah.
with the A. It's a difference between singing and sang.
Yeah, Carolyn Deerfield can sing.
Carolyn
Dudley.
can sing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Deerfield Dudley, she
So,
can sing.
Kudos to you, Carolyn. We love hearing you sing and perform. You've been entertaining us for a long, long time. And also, the people in Deerfield that's having trouble buying food. We know the economy is tough right now on everyone. And the money that we get right now just doesn't seem to make it, from one paycheck to the next, or, maybe, some people get paid once a month. Let's face it, if you're on Social Security, if you're getting disability, or if you're getting, you're retired and you get that monthly pension check, you have to stretch that money out and make it last. And everybody is feeling it, here with the rent. Buying a home is just through the roof. It's unaffordable here. Everything here, the insurance, homeowners insurance, and the windstorm policies are through the roof. And then these politicians are doing little to stop these insurance companies from doing anything. But let's get back to the food part of it. Nina's Place. It's a free community food bank. It's open Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. The number is 954-421-3146. You can go by there and get food, and a lot of the food comes from Publix. Yes, Publix. Publix donate food to Nina's Community Food Bank, and they have all kind of stuff, fruits, veggies, meat, all of that stuff. I talked to some of the city officials out at the Juneteenth festivities last week, and they gave me this information personally, and they want to let people know that's struggling. If you don't need the food, look, just don't go over there and get it just because it's free, okay? You know how we can get, if you don't need the food, don't go over there and stand in line and take these people's food. Leave it there for people that need it, okay? Again, Nina's Place, free community food bank, open Saturdays from 9 to 2. You can go on the website at Joel at dbfcommunitycares with the s.org. That's JOEL at B as in boy, F community cares, CARES.org. And I believe Kurt Schmidt, he's also involved in that over there. So again, the number 954-421-3146. They have free food. And thank you to Publix for helping out and donating the food and the veggies and the canned goods and all of that stuff that you can use to make ends meet. And again, my people, don't go over there if you don't need this food, all right? Don't go over there and get it. And if you don't need the food, please don't go over there and take the food if you don't need it. There's people out there sleeping on the streets and homeless and veterans out here sleeping under the bridge and everything. Those are the people that need it. If you really need it and you're struggling, and even if you want something, some food, these people are willing to help you, but don't go over there and ruin it for everybody, okay? Because it's a good thing that they have going on over there, and we don't want to see it end. We need more programs like this. Also, June is men's mental health awareness month, and we have a couple of mental health professionals that we're going to be having on our podcast. We're going to reach out to at least two of them, and whoever responds back to us first, that's who we're going to have. And one of them is Blaze, Adolescence Chief Wellness Officer. His name is Blaze. He's a mental health professional, and we're going to reach out to him. We were given his name, and we are going to reach out to him and see if we can get him on our podcast. Also, the Startup Summer Celebration Annual Members and Friends, Thursday, June 20th, which is today, I believe. Yeah, 5:30 to 8:30. You're invited to a casual dinner. That's today, this evening. Actually, it's going on right now. Live music and refreshments will be. We will be saluting our fantastic volunteers, sponsors, members. We will also share updates and plans for the upcoming year. Free for all current members and volunteers. $20 for non-members. Reservations, please. It's 84 Southeast 4th Street in Deerfield Beach. 84 Southeast 4th Street, Deerfield Beach. The number to call is 954-429-0378. And I met him. I met this guy out there. I forget his name. Pardon me for not remembering your name. And I told him I was going to buy a T-shirt from him, but I didn't make it back over there. And when I see him, I am going to purchase a shirt from him. Really just wanted a donation. I'm going to buy a shirt from him and make a donation to him. I got tied up. I talked to so many different people out there on Saturday, so I didn't get a chance to make it back over there like I said I was. And I'm a man of my word. I like to keep my word. So for the gentleman that I talked to, I can't remember his name. I thought his name would be on this flyer here, but it's not. But I will be reaching out to you and to get a shirt. He has some real nice shirts, with black like kids and slow all kind of. I mean, you just got to see it. If I get the website, we'll post it on our page and everything, so you all can go on there and see it for yourself and see what he has to offer. And what else we have here?
On June 22nd, Devin Singletary, I think he plays for the Giants now.
Yeah.
I think he was traded to the Giants or he
yeah.
within free agency.
Free agent, yeah.
Yes. On June 22nd, ages 5 to 16 from 9:30 a.m. to 12 o'clock p.m. and it's free at Westside Park, Oviedo McKeithen. Some people sensitive about that. Everyone still knows it as Westside Park. No disrespect to the McKeithen family or Miss Oviedo memory. 445 Southwest 2nd Street, Deerfield Beach, Florida, 33441. I'm reading exactly from the flyer. So when I say at Westside Park, that's what it said. Devin Singletary will be holding a youth camp, and that's June 22nd, ages 5 to 16. And if you go on our Adams Brothers Facebook page, it should tell you a link to register, to be there, to participate at least. And also on June 29th, from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. reading again from the flyer, at Westside Park, 445 Southwest 2nd Street, Deerfield Beach, Florida, 33441. You also have to register for this Brandon Powell's free football camp. And it's presented by the Powell Legacy Foundation. Now, I don't see an age limit on this, but that, again, is June 29th, 2024 at 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. And that's going to be at Westside Park, Oviedo McKeithen Recreation Center. Brandon Powell is going to be putting on a football camp. I would advise everyone to go out to Devin Singletary's youth camp, which will be this Saturday, June 22nd. And that will be, 5 to 16, 9:30 to 12 p.m. So today is the 20th, tomorrow the 21st. So yes, Saturday is the 22nd. So yes, those two camps will be going on here. One this week and one Brandon. Devin Singletary's camp is this week, and the next weekend it's gonna be Brandon Powell's camp. So govern yourself accordingly with that. We lost Willie Mays on Tuesday afternoon, I believe it was. Tuesday afternoon, we lost Willie Mays. I believe he was 93 years old. I never got a chance to watch Willie Mays as far as I can remember. Willie Mays retired, I believe, in 1972, which I believe I was 6 years old. So I'm quite sure I got a chance to see him because my uncle and my grandparents, my grandfather, they were baseball fans. So I'm quite sure I saw it. I just didn't know what I was looking at that time. But the great Willie Mays retired. And I was just reading here. I was hoping Mr. Lucius Gant, who was a AP sports writer in New York. If Mr. Lucius Gant is watching, we love for Mr. Lucius Gant to call in at 954-480-3209. If Mr. Lucius Gant is out there watching, he usually on here. I tried to get in touch with him earlier, but his phone kept going to voicemail. And if I wish I had thought about this earlier, I would have loved to got Mr. Lucius Gant. But Mr. Lucius Gant wrote earlier, he said, as an AP sports writer in New York, Willie Mays welcomed me when I covered the New York Mets in his final years. He was the best. He was the best. Very friendly to me when other sports writers told me to avoid him. I loved Willie. How many writers did exclusive interviews with Willie Mays and Aaron? All world did, and that's Mr. Lucius Gant. Mr. Lucius Gant is one of the top writers. We had him on our podcast. He's legendary here in Northern Florida. I have read Mr. Lucius Gant columns ever since I was probably 16 years old. Mr. Lucius Gant, if you're in the chat or if you're watching, please call in. We love to hear your thoughts about Willie Mays. But for people who just go back and look at some of the old film of Willie Mays, you all think Deion Sanders was fast. I want you to go back and look at Willie Mays. I want you to go back and look at his speed. You're talking about, I was always, I love to look at the old videos of Willie Mays. You're talking about how quick, people underestimate how quick he was and how he was I think he won 6 Golden Glove awards. He won the World Series, I believe, in 1954. I believe he won the World Series, but he would have caught Babe Ruth record way before Hank Aaron did in 1974-75. He went off and did 2 years of military service. But I implore everyone to go back and look at the old videos of Willie Mays and look at how fast, like I say, he had that Deion Sanders speed. He had that Darryl Green of the Washington Commanders. Now I know people don't like using that old name, but the Washington Commanders. He had the speed of Deion Sanders and Darryl Green. But if you go back and you look at some of the catches that Willie Mays made, look at that overhand, that over the head catch that he made, and back then they made the ballpark shorter. Now I think back then it was like 500 and something. It was over 500 and something feet, I believe it was at that time. But go back and look at some of the old tapes and videos of Willie Mays and just see how extraordinary Willie Mays was and a legend that he was. Matter of fact, baseball is honoring the Negro League. The Negro League tonight in Birmingham at Ricketts Field. I've been posting about it on the Adams Brothers podcast. Let me tell you something. The Negro League players were right there with the Major League players, and racism stopped us in those days. Jackie Robinson was the first black person to integrate baseball. But if they would have allowed those Negro League players, like my dad talked about, Mr. Willie West, you go back and listen to the podcast where my dad talked about Mr. Willie West right here from Deerfield Beach. My dad always said, and others always have told me, Mr. Willie West was one of the best baseball players, pitcher. He was a pitcher. And how good Mr. Willie West was right here from Deerfield Beach. My dad said he was right up there with the Satchel Paige, with all the other that was equivalent to the white players at that time, the Tom Seavers, the Mark Fidricks, Ron Guidry, all the other baseball players. Mr. Willie West was equivalent to that guy. And like my dad say, when he came along playing with Mr. Willie West, my dad was playing when he was 16 years old. And my dad always said that he never saw a person can pitch as good as Mr. Willie West, the late Mr. Willie West, right here from Deerfield Beach, Florida. But if you go look at like I say, Major League Baseball is honoring the Negro League tonight, and they're playing in the oldest ballpark. I think it's going to be on ESPN. Okay. I was just looking, trying to see where was the game. But
just Google it. If we'll put it on our page as well.
Yeah, it's going to be at Rickwood Field, and that's in Birmingham, Alabama, and it says here, I'm reading here, the first black pitcher in St. Louis Cardinals history will be honored at Rickwood Field. Actually, they were supposed to honor Willie Mays tonight, but Willie Mays, the family declined. I guess they knew he was dying, and but they were gonna honor the great Willie Mays tonight at Rickwood Field. And the first black pitcher in St. Louis Cardinals history was a guy named Bill Greason. And they're going to honor him tonight in Birmingham. And the Rickwood Field is the oldest Major League field that's out right now. But if you check out ESPN tonight, June 20th is Negro League night in baseball. So I'm going to be watching.
Little known Black history facts.
I'm going to be watching the Negro League because I have always been, I have always heard about Satchel Paige, Josh Gibson, Willie Mays, Hank Aaron, all the other players that played like in the Negro League, like my dad, all the players, Mr. Willie Holmes, all the players that was there.
Mr. Elijah Robinson, Pompano.
Mr. Elijah Robinson. Yeah. All those guys played in the Negro League, and they never did get the credit that they deserved during that time. Those black players were up on the same level with those Major League Baseball players, and like I say again, Satchel Paige, Josh Gibson, Hank Aaron, man, I tell everyone, go back and do your history on the Negro League and some of the players and the people that played in the Negro League. That's some history that has gotten lost, and you need to go back and just study that history. I mean, Satchel Paige, Buck, I can't think of his name, Buck Buchanan, I believe his name was. All those players. I mean, as I say again, I was always fascinated by, as far as a historian, I was always fascinated by the history of the Negro League. So I implore everyone to go back and watch the games tonight. That's going to honor Willie Mays and all the Negro players. It's going to be, I'm quite sure, on ESPN. So go by and check it out.
Also, on June 20th, 2020, I think I posted a little short video on our page. Hello, Mr. Smith, Erica Yorker, Constance Powell, and Bad Mama Jamma Madison. Hey, Skinner. On June 20th, 2020, I led the first protest here. I wouldn't say the first protest, but it was right after George Floyd was killed. And I went ahead and I put together a peaceful protest, and we not march. I don't like to use the word march, but we protested peacefully from near the Johnny Tigner Center all the way over to the Broward County Sheriff's Office, District 10 office, Deerfield Beach, and we paused there. And I stopped and I let the people know the importance of exercising your First Amendment, which including the freedom of press, of filming. And had it not been for that person exercising persons exercising their right to film these officers while they were executing George Floyd, there probably would be no accountability for what happened to Mr. Floyd. So if you go back and look on our page, I posted a video. It was filmed, I believe, by our cousin Ella Portier. And I was swearing in to everybody that I think, this is my opinion, I think that anybody that gets stopped by law enforcement, they're filming you, that you should film your encounter with law enforcement. That's just me talking. I'm not telling you to harass them and or whatever. Let them do their job, but you can film your encounter with law enforcement.
And please stay quiet, y'all. Don't be talking during the video. Let the video
volunteer.
speak for itself.
Yeah, volunteer. Just be quiet and film. You know what I'm saying? So I was basically telling everybody they took an oath to film your encounters with law enforcement because of what happened to George Floyd. Not to go every time you see a police officer stop somebody, you go stick a phone and antagonize them. They have a job to do. But if you think that they're doing something or being a little bit too aggressive and or whatever, pull out your phone and you video and record from a safe distance, because we got a governor here that he passed a law that says that you have to back up so many feet if the law enforcement officer tells you, or they can arrest you. And it borderlines trampling all over your First Amendment rights, if you ask me. So go back and look at the video. It's on our Adamsbrotherspodcast Facebook page. And I'm going to put some pictures up of the march. I see a lot of people I know. It just popped up on my timeline. It was actually 4 years ago. And I'm going to be sharing those pictures. And actually, 2020 is when we first started podcasting. Yeah. Here.
It was around June.
Right around June. I think that's when we started.
Sheriff Tony was our very first guest.
I think we started right after George Floyd. George Floyd's murder helped us jumpstart our podcast. So I think we started in June, somewhere between May and June.
But do you all think a lot has changed since George Floyd's murder? Do y'all think it has gotten better or worse or at a standstill? I mean, You can give your opinion in the chat. You're welcome to call in 954-480-3209. You're welcome to call in 480-954-480-3209. Has things progress here for black people here since the murder of George Floyd, or has it gotten worse, or is it still just at a standstill? I personally don't think a lot has gotten better, because here, at least here in Florida, as Darryl alluded to earlier, we have a governor that tries to trample over our rights. He came out with a anti-protest law where he's basically trying to trample the rights of people. Amendment. I mean, here in Florida, the legislators voted against everyday citizens getting body cam footage of the police. You have to basically go get a court order or whatever to get the body cam footage. That footage belongs to the people here. You know, you always hear these politicians on TV, especially from the right. They're always talking about freedom of speech and freedom, but what did they do? They turned right around trying to protect video footage of the police, which body cams, which are paid for by federal dollars and taxpayer dollars, because a lot of these departments get those body cameras through grants. So we're paying for it one way or the other, but they don't want us to see
the body cam footage, and that's not transparency.
And that's not transparency. That's why a lot of times you have to use your phone, as Darryl said earlier, from a safe distance, and that's why I say don't even say anything, just film. Yep. Just step back from a 20 feet or whatever. I think they tried to say 18 feet, but just stay back and film. Yeah. These cameras now, these phones that they make now,
you don't have to be 5 feet from them, and
let the video speak for itself. Yeah. So the governor, with all his actions, he can do everything that he wants, but he can't stop
the First Amendment.
The First Amendment.
They all took a oath to uphold the Constitution, but they try their best to trample on your rights.
Especially here in Florida.
When it's, you know,
all that woke they're talking about.
You know, it's the First Amendment is the First Amendment. The Constitution can never be changed by any so-called wannabe super politician or whoever you think you are, whatever party. It can never be changed. Okay. All we're telling you to do, if you ever get stopped by the cops, don't antagonize them. Don't say nothing. Just pull out your phone.
Don't even argue with them,
and just start and film it. And if they tell you to shut it off, don't shut it off. Okay. Don't shut it off. You do not have to shut it off. Okay. They can threaten you with arrest. Let them take you to jail. Put your hands behind your back. Let them take you to jail, and then you sue them in court, and they lose their qualified immunity. And you go take their house and their bank account and everything else. So hopefully that doesn't happen, because we got a lot of good police officers out there, but we're just telling the people what you can do.
Always film.
We have law enforcement in our family, but
always film the police, regardless.
Always exercise your First Amendment. That is all we're telling you. You know, peacefully. Don't cuss them out and call them, talk about their moms and this and that, and just
don't even argue with them.
Start your video and remain quiet. You know,
that's it.
That's all we're telling you to do.
Because they're gonna find a way. The people are gonna find a way. Because it's always, you already know what we're gonna hear. We already know what black people hear all the time about. Well, what happened before the video started? Before you started filming. So if you quietly just hit the record button. Stay quiet, because you already know they're gonna try to find a way to say you was belligerent, you was screaming, you was talking loud. You know, they always try that on us. So we already know, when you know the playbook, when you see that playbook play out so many times in front of you nationally, you already know what to do. When the police stop you, you can ask them, what am I being stopped for? And that's usually the triggering point for a police, especially a black person. And I'm talking from experience. Whenever you ask them, and especially that officer is white or Hispanic, the first time you ask them, What am I being stopped for? You? They immediately look at you like you just committed a crime. Not all. But in my interactions with them, that was the triggering point right there. Just asking, why am I being stopped? And they seem like they go off the deep end, like, who are you to question me? And again, not all. My experience, I'm going by my experience. When I stopped, I was nice, I was courteous, and they still was like figuring like, you should not ask me, you should just sit there in your vehicle, shut the hell up and be quiet. That was their attitude. So, and I know I seen other people look at Sandra Bland in 2015 in Texas when she was stopped. She was smoking a cigarette. She asked the officer, Brian Enberg or whatever his name was. He snatched her out the car. You know, he didn't have to do anything. They ended up firing him. And somehow or another, Sandra Bland ended up dead in a jail cell, which they tried to say she committed suicide. I don't know. I wasn't there. My heart of heart tell me something else happened. That's just me. But Sandra Bland is not here with us. She should be here with us. But as Daryl said earlier, film the cops. You don't have to tell them you're filming them. Just do it quietly. Do it quietly, because they're not gonna actually tell you they're filming them unless you look at their body cam and see that light flashing. And sometimes you might not even see the light flashing, but just film them and just, hey, be courteous to them.
You can film them in the course of their duty. That's all we're saying. And we're not trying to tell you to do anything crazy and this and that. Just exercise your First Amendment. That's all we're saying. So if you go back and look at the video on the page, you'll see a little short clip of me telling people to exercise your First Amendment. That's all I'm telling. And I'm gonna upload some pictures. Anything else, because we've been on here an hour and 15 minutes.
One other thing we were talking about. I mean, last week we had these record floods here again, record rainfall here in South Florida, and our governor, because I'm always talk about him because he's the worst governor we ever had here in the state of Florida.
Some people love him.
And some people love him, so be it. But this is why everyone should know how government works. And you pay your taxes, you want change for your community. The federal government, the House and Senate, Joe Biden literally passed an infrastructure bill to send funding to address the infrastructure issues like bridges, drainage. Our lunatic Florida governor
rejected it,
says no, and vetoes. This man vetoed water projects here in the state of Florida. And what happened after he vetoed it? We get all kind of flooding here last week, where people complaining and running to the local municipalities, complaining to them. But most of the people who voted for him, he cut the funding for the water projects here.
And what we believe is an open door for these insurance companies to raise up, go up on your premium.
And that's what's going to
happen. Because when you flood, when people start filing claims against these insurance companies, what they do? They lowball you, and they take you 2-3 years, like they just did my brother, to pay him his money, and then right after so many people file a claim, they go up on your premium.
Yeah, or drop you, or put you.
And then they'll drop you, like they just did. Citizens Property Insurance, screw you. All right, and I hope somebody that works for them is watching this here. Citizens Property Insurance, screw you. Okay. You drop me and put me in a little rinky-dink company, and just by you dropping me, cost me $1,400 more.
People go out and vote.
Screw you, Citizens Property Insurance, okay?
But
I hope you go bankrupt.
But DeSantis vetoed $205 million for storm and wastewater improvements. He says because there are already $500 million set aside in a budget for the Department of Environmental Protection. And he's saying that all local communities had to do was apply for the funding according to the governor. If that's the case, how come no one here in Deerfield applied for that funding for over near MLK? Maybe they didn't know. And I'm just going by what the governor said. How come no one applied for that funding over near Deerfield Park, where it floods there and all other areas of this city, not just in District 2, but everyone else? But this man vetoed $205 million in storm wastewater programs. He also cut, with the water projects, he also cut homeless programs, which here in Florida now, the municipalities
waging war on the homeless
are required now to run the homeless out of parks, and if they don't, they lose federal funding.
And some of them, a lot of them are veterans that served in the United States military, armed forces too. A lot of these homeless people are veterans. So this idiot up there in Tallahassee, you know, he don't care about veterans. We're big on patriotism, and
he could care less about the vets. The vets are the least taken care of people here.
You want to run these
vets
out of the park. So hey, we only got a few more years of him. You know,
he can go on.
He can go on. And
we can't wait till he's gone,
else,
and then I'm quite sure some other tyrant is gonna come behind him. Some other lunatic, you know, that comes here always talking about free speech and free and small government. And what do? They turn around and do the total opposite that they run off of. But that's politics. That's both parties. Both parties do the same thing. So it's not just exclusive to the lunatic right wingers. We got some left wingers out there that just up there in Tallahassee, they just doing enough, because right now here in Florida, the Democrats are in the super minority. That can change.
Yeah, if you get out and vote.
But when they're in power, what do? They don't do anything. Now the Republicans are the super majority here in Florida. Okay, so they're in power. How come Florida is still struggling, since they say this state is crap? Then how come when the Republicans are the super majority? So you can't blame the Democrats when y'all are the super majority. So y'all should be able to run everything that y'all want to run. So how come Florida is still struggling when the Republicans have been the super majority for about 2 years now? How? How come? How come the road's still flooding? You got to go and ask you got to go and ask these politicians that in the Florida Capitol.
And the work that you're seeing done on the highways up and down here in Florida, up and down I-4, I-95, the Turnpike, or wherever. Those projects was passed during the Obama administration. They're just now, they started on them years ago, and they're still not finished. So what you're seeing now being done, it wasn't done by Trump. This was all done by President Obama. Go back and look.
And Trump he did give money.
And he did do some things, don't get me wrong, but all of this road work you're seeing, and especially on the highways out there, it was from the Obama administration. It just took years for them to get the projects going and started up around Central Florida, and it's working its way down here to South Florida, because South Florida is gridlocked. You can't go. It take you forever to go to work now and come home. Yeah. I-95 and the Turnpike is a nightmare. Going east and west on Hillsborough, Oakland Park, Sunrise, Broward Boulevard, Commercial, Cypress Creek, Atlantic, it's a nightmare. This whole area is gridlocked. So they need or wider roads, and they need more flyovers, and they need more bypasses, you know, that go around the city. They need more options, because
need more housing for one.
More housing, you know.
I mean, that's the problem here. I mean,
a house over here in the hood goes for almost $500,000. No, more. Probably right around $500,000.
Probably the most raggedy house goes for that.
$500,000. I mean, who can afford a house in?
Who can afford the insurance, like you were saying earlier?
Insurance. I feel for people trying to buy houses. I tell people all the time, people trying to buy houses right now, if you just buying a house, you feel it.
You're in trouble.
You feeling it right now. If you are a homeowner and you own more than one home, you're a winner. You're a winner right now. Rent is through the roof right now. You're gonna make out like a pig in a fat pig in a pig pen right now. You know. So you're gonna make out, man. If you own property or real estate and you renting it out or Airbnb, Airbnb, you're gonna make out right now. So we've been on here for a while, man. We always try to come on here and update you all, man.
Don't forget about Devin Singateri's camp this Saturday. Don't forget about that at the Westside Park Oviedo McKeithen Center.
Yeah.
That's going to be from 9 to 1.
Yep.
Let me go back and just check.
Ted Riley, Glenn Tyson, Ella Portier, Cousin Ella, and Peggy Johnson. Thank you all for rocking with us. Thanks for tuning in. We're getting ready to wrap it up here on our podcast, man. We've been on here for like an hour and 20 minutes right now.
Go back and check out our interview that we had this morning at 11 with Sheriff Gregory Toney. Great interview. Everybody texted us, was texting me saying that was a very good interview. Again, June 22nd, ages 5 through 16, 9:30 a.m. to 12 p.m. is free. You have to link to register. It's a link. If you go back on our Adams Brothers Facebook page, you will see the link to register for Devin Singateri's youth camp this Saturday at the Oviedo McKeithen Center. And next Saturday, after next, Brandon Powell will have his camp June 29th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Westside Park Oviedo McKeithen Center. So go there and you can register there too. So those are two events for the kids. I hope y'all have a great evening and a great weekend, a great safe weekend, and continue to follow the Adams Brothers podcast. We got excellent guests even coming. We got judges coming. We got State Attorney Harold Pryor. We got so much in store for everyone. Just continue to keep following us. Also support our Black Media podcast via Zelle at Adamsbrotherspodcast@gmail.com. That again is at Zelle. You can support us Zelle at Adamsbrotherspodcast, all one word, at gmail.com. Also through Cash App at $AdamsBrothersPodcast. That again is Cash App, $AdamsBrothersPodcast. You're only going to get this news here. You're only going to get this as far as the community right here. People of Pompano Beach. I hope everyone went to that meeting in Pompano Beach about the redevelopment on MLK and Atlantic. It might be still going on. It started at 5:30. Y'all stay informed out there what's going on here in Deerfield. Pioneer Grove, stay informed. Everybody, I love you. We'll see you on the other side.
Also, before we let you go, I'd like to send our condolences out to May Chin and the Crawford and Crockett family. That's my extended family. I grew up with the Crawford and Crockett family. Everybody knows Lester Crawford, Les. Everybody called him Les. We grew up together, man. That's like my brother from another mother. His niece Vivian Chin passed away, and we're gonna be over there with you all this weekend, man. So, man, y'all just hang tight, May and Crawford and Crockett family over there, man. We love y'all, man, and we will be there to support you all. Our thoughts and prayers go out to May Chin and the Crawford and Crockett family. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for supporting us, man. Thank you all for rocking with our channel, man. We appreciate all of the love and support that you all give us. We're gonna keep on riding for Exit 42 Deerfield Beach, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. We love you all. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and thank you for rocking with the Adams Brothers Podcast. See ya.